Hello everyone, welcome back. This is to Calisthenics podcast. I know it's been long since I have done a podcast, but now that I'm back with a bang, today's podcast is gonna be a small piece of advice for the one who are into calisthenics. Today we are having Dr. Dhairya, who is also known as Fitnat, who is pretty famous among calisthenics athletes in India for helping them to recover with their injuries and also preventing to planning a systematic workout program to have a faster progress. So let's have a chat with him. So hey, Dhairya, what's up? How are you?
Hi Kaustubh, I'm good enough. How are you doing?
I'm doing too good. Amazing.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm really happy to be part of your journey. Yeah.
I hope you're gonna enjoy it.
Sure, Kaustubh. I will.
So, where are you from?
I'm from a small town in Gujarat. It is called as Karamsad. It is basically the place where Sardar Vallabh Patel took birth.
Oh, that's nice. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Does that mean like you? I always see you like giving online trainings a lot and providing. Do you even give offline training too?
Oh, yes, I do give offline, but my
Mhm.
most of the work is with people outside of Gujarat or my town. So I mostly work online with them, and I'm working online since last 3 years.
Wow.
So I've been working online.
How did you get to know about calisthenics, and since how long are you training calisthenics athletes?
So first of all, I was myself into calisthenics when I was in my college, and I was around 150 kilos, and I was really
Damn.
obese. Yeah. So I was always interested in bodyweight training more than gymming because for me, bodyweight training is all about real life strength, right? You must be knowing it because you yourself are a calisthenics player.
Yes.
Right? So I was always into calisthenics myself, and then I thought, why can't I use this with all my patients? And then I started using calisthenics or bodyweight training in all my patients, even if they are not the athletes, and I got extremely good results. And since then, I've been using purely bodyweight training or calisthenics for my treatments since last 4 years.
4 years. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
Yes.
So, what is Fitnat?
Okay, so Fitnat basically means to be fit naturally. Okay. And Fitnat was founded by Dr. Nidhi and me. It was founded in 2017 in Vadodara, Gujarat. Okay. And we work mostly with athletes, professionals, and women's and geriatric people who are about the age of 50. We help them to treat their pain, injury, or achieve a performance goal along with providing education. Okay. So the thing is this, most of the people come to us not only to solve their pain or injury, but they also wish to achieve something more, like treating a shoulder injury and achieving a front lever at the same time. So this is what we do. We started Fitnat in 2017 only in Gujarat. But right now we are working in entire India, especially in Maharashtra, Bangalore, Chennai, and North India. And now we are also working with people outside of India, especially in America, Canada, Europe, Australia, Indonesia.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, Ghost.
You guys, 3 years it took, and you guys are literally going outside the country and doing this. I wish you guys all the best, and I am sure that you're gonna meet and do such a good thing. Also, how did you end up coming to All India Strength was in 2019?
Oh, thanks to Rohan. He was the first guy. He was the first athlete whom I met in 2018, and then I've been active with all of the calisthenics in almost Mumbai.
Yeah.
Then I met guys from Bangalore, the calisthenics beast community.
Yeah.
And special thanks to them that I am now in contact with people in Bangalore. So one by one, I've been working with calisthenics people in entire India. So it all started with just one person, and he is Rohan, and I'm always grateful to him.
So that is the reason of your popularity where it started.
Yes. So it started one person at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. And now it is going good. It took time to gain the momentum, but now it is going good.
Okay, so what's your qualification?
I'm just a bachelor in physical therapy. I basically started Fitnat when I was in second year of my college because I wanted to work with athletes, and I was mostly aligned in creating simple solutions for most of my patients. I was not into getting a master's or PhD because I don't wanted to end up as a professor in a college. I'm a field player, so I just got the bachelor in physical therapy. But I have a lot of mentors upon starting with Dr. Perry Nicholson. He is from America, and he has played a huge role in my life, and that's it.
Okay, so this is like a general question from my side. Okay, so whenever we say we are going to be a doctor, our parents or the relatives, they will be having an expectations like, oh yeah, this guy is going to work into this hospital, this guy is going to get into a clinic or something he will do. So what was their reaction when you tell them that I don't do this, I train clients online?
Oh, the reaction was difficult. It was tough. Okay. But thing is, see, I started Fitnat just to be financially free from my parents' financial, to free my parents from basically to gain financial freedom.
Yeah.
Right? So it took me 3 years, and after 3 years, they can see the result. They can see the financial stability that I am living with, and they are now trusting my work. So it is a slow game. It is not a fight. Okay, it is a very slow game. They gain trust when they see you working one person at a time. So it is not like that I've explained them my stuff and they accepted it. They took time to accept it. Okay, but once they can see the steady gains, then they gain trust. So that's it.
I'm too glad that they understood, and now the things are falling apart. Falling in your place. Yeah. Okay, yes. Now coming to the fitness questions, like which many of the people have.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So according to you, what is a warm-up and why is it important for a calisthenics athlete before starting the workout?
Okay. To speak or to explain in simple words, warm-up is to become ready for the main task. Okay. Warm-up is not only about increasing heart rate and breath rate, but it is more about becoming psychologically right or creating a good mindset for training. Okay. That is what warm-up is all about. Okay. Warm-up is to become mentally and physically ready for the main job.
Why is it important?
Okay. It is important because, if most of the athletes are lacking attention when they are performing their exercises, it can lead to improper results or it can lead to waste of time. Okay. And also, if a person is not in the ready state, then it can cause injuries. Okay. It is not directly linked to injuries, but indirectly it can cause waste of time. Indirectly it can cause deviation from the main task, and indirectly it can cause fatigue. So thus indirectly it can cause injuries. Okay. But to speak the truth, warm-up should not be more than 15-20 minutes. Okay. Warm-up has to be as short and as simple as possible. Warm-up is a routine that makes you ready for the main task. That does not mean that one should spend half an hour or 1 hour specifically for warming up. Okay. Because in most of real life scenarios, one does not get chance to warm up. Yeah. Okay. So warm-up should be simple. It should be it should be driven purposefully
and not oriented, right? Like doing nothing. Like we should be always oriented, focusing from head to shoulder to neck, something like in a proper way, right?
Okay. So see, simply putting, let's task that the main task of my today's session is push-up.
Okay.
Then the warm-up should be able to prime all the pushing muscles. That's it. Not more than that. Okay. Let's say I want to do weighted dips today, and my maximum intensity is 50 kilos. Okay, then usually my warm-up should start with simple bodyweight dips. Okay, then progressively I would increase the intensity, and then I can progress towards the intensity that I want to work with, that is around 40 to 50 kilos. Okay, warm-up should not involve a lot of time. Most of the athletes spend a lot of time in their joint rotations and all the stuff, and that is good, but it is not necessary all the time. So warm-up should be purposefully driven. If my goal is pulling, then I should prime all the pulling muscles. I should not bother much about legs or ankles in general.
Good.
Okay, that is how we do warm-up in Fitnat when we train any athlete.
Okay, lesson learned for the day.
Yep.
Okay. Also, I have seen like at the beginning of my calisthenics journey, and I have like trained so many people, and even their experience. Okay, so they'll be training nicely, they'll be doing nice warm-ups and all, they'll be in full josh, and at the end of the workout, no, they'll not do any cool downs and all. They'll be like, I'm getting late, or I have to go for another work, or I am just bored. I just don't like cool down. I don't understand. Like, so according to you, what is cool down or stretching, and why is it so important after workout?
So to speak the truth, cool down is one of the factor that reduces the chances of fatigue accumulation. Okay, there was a research done, and it was concluded that the athletes who spent time after training to reduce their heart rate or breath rate for just 5 to 6 minutes were less fatigued than those athletes who didn't do that. Okay, so the athletes who are smart enough, who have long-term vision, they will find time to cool down. And also, cool down should not require more than 15-20 minutes. Okay, an efficient cool down would focus on just two things, that is reducing the heart rate, and second thing is reducing the breath rate. Okay, so a cool down could be as simple as sitting under the sunlight, or cool down could be as having a good bath, having a good sleep. Okay, a cool down can be anything that slows your heart rate and breath rate. Stretching is one form of cooling down, but stretching is not the only thing that covers cool down. Cool down is more about breath work. One should focus on reducing, decreasing their breath rate. Okay, so ideally, when a person is awake, fully awake, their breath rate is usually 20 to 25. Okay, when an athlete is training, their breath rate is more than 30 to 40, between the 30 to 40 breaths per minute.
Yeah.
So in cool down, we should focus on lowering the breath rate back to 20 to 25 or even less.
So what is the normal heart rate is anywhere between 60 to 72, right? Yeah.
Yes,
so what is the normal
heart rate? See, breath rate is very easy to track. Okay, heart rate is not. Even the devices, even the watches show improper heart rate most of the time. Okay, so breath rate is one of the best thing that one can judge. One can judge for their performance as well as cool down. So ideally, our breath rate should be 20 to 25 in a normal human. If you are an athlete, the lesser the breath rate, the better it is. Okay, most of the marathon runners have their breath rate just between 5 to 10 breaths per minute. Okay, so the lesser the breath rate, the better it is. If your breath rate is more than, the better performance it is, and better oxygen assimilation it is. So cool down should focus more on reducing the breath rate. Okay, it should not focus on just relaxing and stretching the muscles, but should emphasize on reducing the breath.
Sure. Okay, so moving to the next one, what are the common mistakes done by calisthenics athletes according to you at every level?
Okay, this is a huge question indeed, but there are a few points that are important. One of the first point is calisthenics athletes have poor programming. Okay, see, they chase 4 or 5 rabbits at the same time, and they end up without any rabbit. Okay, I have seen calisthenics athletes train without any specific goal. Okay, for example, on Monday they will train heavy squats, then on Tuesday they will take jumping jacks and burpees, and on Wednesday they will do 100 or 200 or 1000 squats. So all of these days you are training legs in a different way. Okay, but this is not obeying the law of specificity. Okay, what is the law of specificity? The law states that if you do an exercise, your body will create adaptations with respect to that exercise. Okay, if that adaptation is not developed, one can get injured. See, injuries happen when your body is not adapted to a specific stimulus or exercise. Okay, let's say my maximum deadlift is 100 kilos. My body is adapted to lift 100 kilos of deadlift. Okay, but if I try to deadlift 150 kilos without any prior practice or anything, my body is not yet adapted to develop to withstand that force, and that can cause injuries. So I see most of the calisthenics athletes have poor programming. They have no specific goal or purpose of training. They just burn their muscles. Okay. They train 3 or 4 different goals at the same time, and that should not be done. Okay, because see, our brain can only process one kind of stimulus at a time. Okay, if you give different stimulus on different days, your brain is not developing any adaptation. Okay, if there are no adaptation as opposed to imposed stimulus or exercise, then there is higher chances of injury. Okay. So in simple words, calisthenics athletes should focus on good programming and should focus on one goal at a time.
So according to you, coming with this question,
yes,
like you said, like people are not having goals. So if you guys are listening to this, please have a goal in this calisthenics. And what are the common injuries occurred in calisthenics athletes? The common injuries.
Okay, so mostly I've seen 4 common injuries, that is back injury, shoulder injury, wrist injury, and knee injury. Okay, all these injuries are mostly acute and slowly developing in nature. Okay, they are felt acutely, but their development is slow. Okay, so these are the kinds of injuries that I have seen common in calisthenics.
Then how to deal smartly with these injuries, how to avoid them, or how to get to know before they are coming.
Okay, these are 3 different questions, Kaustubh. Let me answer just one.
Sure,
let me answer how to deal with injuries. Okay, so one of the best way to deal with an injury is to create a good program that should be specific to a specific to goal. Okay, that is sure way of dealing with a specific injury. Okay, if you are prepared, if you are knowing what you are going to experience, the chances of injuries are way less. Okay, if you are training unplanned, then the chances of getting injured are more. Okay, so creating a good program is one of the best way to prevent injuries from happening. Okay, a good program should have one specific goal at a time, and a good program should also involve fatigue management. See, Kaustubh, performance is inversely proportional to fatigue. The less fatigue you are in a training, the more performance you are going to experience. Okay, so it is not wise to train in fatigue if you are having strength or skill goals. It is why fatigue management is totally different in an endurance goal. But if your goal is to achieve some strength PRs, like achieving 100 kilo dips, or if you have a goal like a skill goal like a front lever, or achieving a handstand, or achieving a human flag, then you should try to minimize fatigue, because an athlete who is more fatigued is more prone to injuries than the athlete who is less fatigued. So create a good program, focus on one goal, and try to prevent fatigue as much as possible. These are the 3 things that will help you to avoid an injury. Okay, now coming to the question, the only thing that can help us prevent injuries is pain. pain is the signal that your body gives before you experience an injury. Okay. So, Kaustubh, pain does not mean physical damage. Pain is just a neurological sensation, but injury means physical damage. Injuries can be, let's say, a ligament strain, or it can be a muscle pull, or it can be tearing of muscle, it can be inflammation of a joint. These are physical changes. We can classify this as injuries. But pain is just a sensation. For, let's say, you feel pain in shoulder while performing pull-ups. That is pain. It is not an injury. Okay, Kaustubh. So most of the athletes should understand their pain in order to prevent injuries. One should not ignore the pain or kill the pain. Okay, the athletes, two mistakes that athletes make when they have pain is they either ignore the pain or either kill the pain.
Okay. So what do they do to kill the pain?
They either go for any kind of passive interventions like dry needling, cupping, kinesiotapes, painkillers, or let's say anti-inflammatory pills. These are the things that athletes do to kill the pain. It works in a short time, and also they don't understand the cause of pain. So the pain is reoccurring again and again until it leads to an injury, serious injury. Okay, so athletes should try to understand their pain, or should try to consult a doctor when they experience pain, not when they experience injuries. Okay, or before they experience injuries. And one of the best thing that a person can do to avoid injuries is to periodize their training. Okay, so what is periodization? Periodization is to focus on one goal at a time and to cycle different kinds of goals. Let's say if your goal is to develop well-developed legs, lower body. Okay, so let's say you will, for first 3 months, you will focus on developing raw strength, that is working on heavy squats or pistol squat. Okay, then for next period of 3 months, you will focus on endurance. You will focus on running for long distances, or you can focus on 1000 or 2000 squats. Okay, then for next period of 3 months, you can focus on ballistic goals like jumping, high jumping, and long jumping, sprinting, plyometric drills, etc. So this is known as periodization. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is opposed to the mistakes that athletes make. That is, they train all the kinds of goal in the same workout, and that is the mistake.
Yeah, I get it now. So how and what to do to avoid injuries?
These are the things to do for avoiding an injury, Kaustubh. First, understand the pain, because pain is the only thing that can help you to prevent injury or avoid injury. Okay. Second, choose a good training goal. Create a SMART goal. Okay. And the third is create a rough program. A rough program is better than no program. Most of the athletes just train intuitively. Okay. They train just to burn their body. One of the things that I've seen in calisthenics community is they make fun of CrossFitters, but they are almost training the same way. Okay, except the techniques is good, except the technique and form is better, but the training program is same like a CrossFitter.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why maximum number of injuries are reported in CrossFit and calisthenics community, because their training program is not proper. And this is also one of the reasons why people who are bodybuilders experience least injuries, because they at least have a training program. At least they know what to do for next 5 or 6 months. So forming a training program is one of the best way to avoid the injury.
Okay. So if an athlete comes to you with a shoulder injury, what will be the top 3 exercise are you going to make him or her do? Okay, so
Kaustubh, see, injury is an individual experience. So first of all, I will have to assess or examine the injury. What kind of injury are they having and what was the root cause of it? Okay. But generally speaking, there are 2 main reasons that we have found behind shoulder problems, and that is one, there is decrease of stability in shoulder region. Okay. And second, most of the athletes have poor trunk rotation. Okay. So what is stability? Stability is ability to stop the movement. Okay, if you are doing pull-ups and I tell you to stop at any time while doing those pull-ups, that is a good stability if you can do that thing. Okay, so most of the people focus on shoulder mobility, but shoulder stability is one of the things that should be trained. And one of the best movement that I make athletes do for shoulder stability are front lever pulls, any kind of horizontal pulling like Australian pull-ups or rows. And for trunk rotations, one of the best movement that a person can do is this thing: leg raises, then windmills, then slant leg raises. These are specifically answers for calisthenics people, right? Because I will choose different exercise if the person is from a different community. Yeah. So I focus mostly on shoulder stability and trunk rotation for helping them with shoulder injury.
I think yes, it has worked in my case, and they're really good ones. Yeah. So, what exercise do you recommend for a good shoulder conditioning? Which is these three, right? One is
front lever, leg raises, horizontal pulling. But if you want to condition your shoulders, you need to focus on some form of overhead pressing, because that is the most important function of shoulder. How is it going to help? Overhead pressing. Because shoulders are meant for overhead pressing. Okay, we have biologically evolved our shoulders to reach things which are above our head. Okay, it can be pike push-ups or wall supported handstand push-ups, then handstand. These are all the exercises which are good for calisthenics athlete. Okay, or they can even do pike crawling. They can just crawl for shoulder endurance. These are the drills that they can develop for overhead pressing. And second thing is horizontal pulling. Horizontal pulling is very commonly used in almost all of my athletes with shoulder injury, because horizontal pulling focuses on shoulder stability and emphasize on lats muscle. Lats muscle are like glutes of upper body, and they are very important muscles. So we make almost all the athletes perform horizontal pulling with who has shoulder injury. Okay. So these are the things. If you want healthy shoulders, focus on some form of overhead pressing and some form of horizontal pulling.
Cool. Also, so focusing on overhead press, pike push-ups, pike crawls, hands and hold, hands and push-ups are the exercises and key to a stronger shoulder.
Yes, and also I forgot one exercise for trunk rotation, and that is side plank. Side plank and human flex are one of the most underrated exercise. Okay, side plank develops great shoulder to trunk connection. And if you notice, trunk is the only thing that generates power in our upper body. Okay, let's say you are doing shrimp flips, let's say you are doing 360 turning on the bar. It is the trunk that is generating power, not the arms. Okay, but if trunk rotation is not good or not efficient enough, or if the shoulder or trunk connection is poor, then it can reduce the stability of shoulder and can lead to injuries. So one of the things that I make athlete perform is some form of rotational stability, like side plank or clutch flag, or let's say human flag in advanced athlete.
Okay. So do you recommend going for a massage very often?
Oh no, I don't recommend massage going for athletes, because evidently massage don't help for any recovery or rehab. It plays a placebo effect. Okay, and also before one goes for massage, one should develop good habits of recovery, fatigue management, diet, sleep, nutrition, and programming. Okay, these are the basics things. And even if all these things are being done by an athlete, then they should, or they can go for massage for at least once every 3 months, not more than that.
Okay.
So because massage plays placibic role, and it diverts the attention of athlete from developing good habits towards placebo effects. So it shifts the focus of an athlete.
Okay. So what breathing pattern do you recommend for calisthenics athletes for pulling, pushing, squatting?
Okay, so see, to keep the things simple, one should breathe out when they're exerting. Okay, this is one of the simple thing. But for all of my athletes, whether they are calisthenics or whether they are in weightlifting or they are in CrossFit or anything, one should breathe always with their nose. Okay. Why? Because mouth breathing is linked with sympathetic response. Now, what is a sympathetic response? Whenever we are breathing with mouth, our brain thinks that we are in stress. It creates systemic stress, it creates general tightness of our body, and it also increases carbon dioxide accumulation inside our body. Okay, so if one is breathing with their mouth, less oxygen is reaching to the muscles, and when less oxygen reaches to the muscles are not functioning at a healthy state, and that can lead to musculoskeletal injuries. So one should always breathe with their nose. Okay, that is point number 1 for breathing. And second point is one should focus on exhalation, then they should focus on inhalation. Why? Because removal of carbon dioxide is more important than inhalation of oxygen. Most of the people just focus on inhalation but are poorly exhaling, because only if you exhale the carbon dioxide, that oxygen can accumulate inside your body. Okay. So, and also brain can only measure carbon dioxide level. Brain does not measure oxygen level inside our body. So the less the carbon dioxide in our body, the less stress the brain will feel. Okay, and the less chances of injuries.
Okay. Yeah. So can you give one example for push-ups? How the push-up breathing will be going?
See, if an athlete has good eccentric control, okay. See, it depends on the person. If person has less strength while going down the push-ups, then I ask them to exhale while going down. Okay. Or if an athlete has problem, or if an athlete faces difficulty while going upwards in the push-up movement, then I ask them to exhale while going upwards. So the general rule of the thumb is exhale when you are exerting. Okay. Or exhale in the movement that is difficult to you. Okay, same way in the pull-ups. If a person has difficulty in going upwards, I ask them to exhale while going upwards. Okay, but if a person can't lower themselves down in control while doing pull-ups, I ask them to exhale while coming downwards from a pull-up. So it depends on person to person.
Also, so these things after you telling, like what are the most things you recommend for all the calisthenics athletes should be knowing and doing and applying in their workout routine?
Okay, so see, all the calisthenics athletes should remember that fatigue is your enemy. Fatigue is inversely proportional to your performance. That means the more fatigue you are accumulating, the less performance you are going to display, and the less fatigue you are going to accumulate, the more performance you are going to display. So if your goal is to achieve strength or achieve a skill, try to minimize fatigue as much as possible. The less the fatigue, the lesser the chances of injury and greater the chances of performing. Okay, that is point number 1. Point number 2 is always train smartly, not just hardly. Calisthenics athletes should remember that burning the body for a strength goal or a skill goal is not that efficient. Okay, one should focus on reducing the fatigue and focus on giving the efforts at an appropriate intensity and volume while training. So that is point number 2. Always train smart and think how you can achieve the results while giving minimum efforts. Okay, because that is what efficient training is all about, right? To train less and achieve more. That is what efficiency is all about. So calisthenics athletes should always think, how can I achieve the same results by training less? Okay, and that is the only way they can train smarter, or they can force creativity out of themselves.
Okay, so we got it.
Kaustup.
Anything else?
Yes, because calisthenics athletes chase 2 or 3 rabbits at a time and end up being with no rabbits. Okay, so athletes should focus on chasing 1 rabbit at a time, focusing on 1 goal at a time.
Okay. Also, there are people who has lesser grip strength and they are unable to do the pull-ups. So how do
Yes.
improve grip strength?
Okay. See, two of the best thing that helps most of the athletes are, one is hanging on a towel. Okay, just place the towel over the bar and just hold on to the vertical portions of the towel. Okay, towel hanging and towel pulling helps in building grip strength. And second thing is rope pulling. Okay, remember the rope that we used to climb when we were kids? The same way. Yes, the rope. Why rope pulling and towel hanging involves gripping things vertically. So it is more challenging to develop a grip strength. So I advise people who can't even do a pull-up, focus on simple towel hanging. Okay, instead of hanging on a pull-up bar, just focus on hanging on a towel and progressively load that movement. And then once start with regressions of pull-ups like Australian pull-ups or horizontal pull-ups, and then progress accordingly to the harder variations.
Okay. So if a person doesn't have a mobility but still have no pain while doing workouts, what does that mean?
Okay, this means that mobility is not linked with pain. And this is truth. It is evidently proved that decrease in mobility is not linked with pain. Okay. See, stiffness is body's protective mechanism, and so is pain. Pain is also a protective mechanism of your body. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever your body is not feeling safety, it creates stiffness or it creates pain. But when does decrease in mobility becomes a problem? Okay, so the answer is if the part is extremely stiff, that the stiffness is also impeding in daily life scenarios. Let's say I want to I want to sit on a bike and I can't sit because I have extremely tight hips. The other scenario is I want to squat down and sit on both my legs. Okay. The other scenario is I want to wear a shoe in standing position. These are the things where if you can't do, then one should work on specifically for mobility. Otherwise, one does not need to spend enough time on mobility if they are training things at full range of motion. Okay. Calisthenics is a win-win situation because in calisthenics, you train at full range of motion that gives you mobility gains without training for it. Okay, let's say working on pull-ups will give you thoracic extension, good thoracic extension. Okay, working on squats will give you adequate ankle, hip and knee flexibility or mobility. Okay, working on leg raises will give you good lower back mobility. So calisthenics is the reason why I love calisthenics, because you don't have to work on mobility separately. You can gain mobility while working your calisthenics, basic calisthenics movement.
So that's cool, no? Like doing squats and getting ankle mobility, hip mobility, knee flexible. Okay. Also, like I have been to All India Strength Wars, and I have seen like few of the international videos. So they will be wearing these athletes like a fancy tape in competitions, putting them around while working out. So what are these tapes?
Yes. So these are known as kinesio tapes. Okay. First of all, kinesio tapes is one form of passive modality with placebo effect. Okay. They have both pros and cons. Kinesio tapes are good for short-term performance gains. For example, if you can wear a kinesio tape right before a performance or a competition, okay, it reduces the sensation of pain. It reduces painful sensations. Okay. So that is, if you use kinesio tape right before a competition, it can be good enough. But one should not use kinesio tape for the rehab in the off season. Okay. Because kinesio tape is plays a placebo role. It does not reduces inflammation, nor it reduces pain for the long term, nor it solves any kind of muscular damage or injury. Kinesio tape just numbs the region like a localized anesthetic or localized pain.
So then how much time does an injured tendon or ligament takes time to recover? And how can we make this process a little faster?
So depending on the body's adaptation and type of injury, and also with proper programming, it can take anywhere from 1 week to 1 year.
1 year? That's too long.
Yes, that's too long. It depends on the person, it depends on the type of tear, and depends on the body's adaptation. Okay. And also depends on the prior history of performance. The athlete who is stronger will take less time to recover. But if an athlete who has never strength trained for a single day in his life and is lazy enough, then it will take more time to recover. So in order for promoting faster recovery of tendons and ligament, one should start training as soon as possible. One should start strength training as soon as possible. They should train the movements which they can do without increasing any kind of pain. Let's say you have experienced a ligament tear of your knees, okay, and if you can't perform squatting, okay, but you should start at least performing some form of hinge movement like deadlift, okay. You can also start some form of endurance work like climbing stairs, slowly climbing stairs up and down. One should aim at getting back to strength training as soon as possible. Because the faster you load the joint or ligament, the faster it can recover. So resting plays a very little role for treatment of ligament or tendon pain.
So when we are into this process of recovering from our injury, ligament or tendon, how does a proper nutrition or a diet helps? Does it help?
Yes, it can help. It can help a lot. See, nutrition provides you adequate energy, steady energy in order to do the daily job. Okay. Because if the energy is not available in a steady proportion, it is linked that the athlete can face depression, anxiety, or insomnia because of that. So, proper nutrition not only helps in recovery, but it also helps if a person is having anxiety, depression, or mood swings if they are facing an injury, or as well as insomnia if they can sleep. So, adequate nutrition supply is a must, and also it makes sure a good diet can reduce inflammation. Okay. And the lesser the inflammation from the body, the faster is going to be the healing process. Okay. So a good diet is also important for overall health.
So what is a muscle or a joint that is prone to injuries in calisthenics?
The most prone joint to injury in calisthenics is shoulder, I would say.
How long should you train in a particular session?
Okay. See, the goal should be to train as less as possible and gain as much as possible. Okay. I would always appreciate the athlete who is training less and achieving more than a person who is training more and achieving more. Okay, because the first person is training smartly. Okay, so in off season, the training should be around 1 or 2 hours, or it can even be 30 minutes. Okay, but before competition, one can specifically train for 2 to 3 hours. More than 3 or 4 hours of training is not a necessity, but depending on the person, one can train for it.
Then if they want how to plan a workout? Let's plan a workout for me for an example. Okay. So my goal is to learn a handstand, and I want to do 10 pull-ups and 15 dips and 5 pistol squats. That's my goal for the next 6 months.
Okay. So Kaustubh, let's divide the goals. pull-ups, dips, and pistol squats are
Yes.
basically strength goals. Okay, and handstand is a skill goal. Okay, handstand is not a strength goal.
Yes.
Handstand is a skill goal. Okay, so first of all, I will train you for strength goals, because strength goals builds capacity of your joints. Okay, so I will start with the progression that you can do. I will start with the progressions that you can do for pull-ups, dips, and squats. Let's say your goal are 10 pull-ups, and if you can't do just one pull-up, I will start with the easiest form of pull-up, that is horizontal rows or Australian pull-ups. Okay, let's say your goal is to achieve 15 dips, and if you can do just 5 dips, I will start some easier variation of dips, like let's say leg supported dips. Okay, or let's say chair dips. Your legs are on the chair while doing dips. Okay, and for pistol squat, I will find an easier variations, like let's say step up. Okay, or lunges. So I will find a progression that you can train, and then I will progressively load these movements. Okay, I will first help you achieve your strength goals, and then I will form a training program to achieve your handstand. Okay, so the thing is, you should always remember this thing, Kaustubh, that first gain strength and capacity before you gain skill. Okay, because if you gain skill without any strength, then the skill won't stick with you for a long time. Okay, so always first achieve raw strength before you try to achieve any kind of endurance or ballistic strength or any speed strength, or let's say any kind of skill strength. Okay, this is the pyramid. The wider the base, the better the chances that you can reach the top. Okay, so always train for raw capacity, raw strength. Okay, basics first, and then you can move on towards advanced combinations of strength. Let's say speed work, ballistic work, let's say endurance work, let's say skill work or freestyle, etc.
Cool. Yeah, so that's example for my workout program, and I'm definitely going to work on it. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so thank you so much, Dhairya, for doing this with me. It was really a great conversation. I got to learn a lot of things, and I hope whoever is listening to this will also get a lot to learn. Okay, so before ending this podcast, would you like to say anything else?
Yes. See, always grasp basics before you try to grasp advanced stuff. Most of the athletes are always attracted to fancy stuff. Let's say the recovery gun, which is very famous in the market. But one should always try to learn basic principles of fatigue management or programming and proper nutrition before buying that recovery gun. Okay, so I would always ask athletes to focus on simple basic stuff first, and then aim for advanced stuff. Okay, that is the last thing. And if anyone have any queries, one can ask me anytime over my Instagram handle or my email or WhatsApp. Anything.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Fitnat.
Yes, Kaustubh, it was a great experience. This was my first podcast, and I really am grateful to meet you and have this conversation.
Cool. How did you feel it?
Yes, I'm feeling good, and I hope that
perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for staying up until here. I hope you have got to understand a lot of things you need to know about in and outs in calisthenics from a doctor's perspective. And I hope I have covered everything as much as possible. If not, you can write me any questions, any doubts, any suggestions at 02calisthenics.com. There will be tons of interviews coming around. By the way, also make sure to check out Dr. Dhairya on Instagram at fitnat.corner, and of course make sure to check out 02calisthenics too. Thank you.